How do you see the current level of IT maturity of the real estate companies in India?
If you look at the real estate sector per se, in last 10 years, let's take 10 years horizon. A lot of things have happened in real estate over last 10 years where the sector has become more matured in terms of business. See, RERA was brought into place in 2016. So compliances have come, regulation has come, sector has become more transparent, it has become more organized. So earlier there was, it was like a lot of fly-by-night operators also were operating along with a few professionally managed organizations. Now the sector has come to a situation where all these fly-by-night operators or small developers are kind of fading out, and the sector is being dominated by professionally managed organizations. So, plus a lot of private investment coming into the real estate sector per se. So you may be aware that investor like Blackstone is planning to invest some $20 billion. It's a huge number over a period of next say 10 years. But the point is that the private investment that is getting or the sector is becoming attractive for private investors is itself an indication of a maturity of the sector. Now, this is what is driving the technology also. So 10 years earlier, I would say the sector would have been lagging as compared to other sectors. You take FMCG, take white goods, take pharma, whatever, BFSI. I mean, real estate was not at par. Now that that situation is changing rapidly. Now the technologies are being infused very rapidly. The management that is managing these professional companies, professional real estate companies, is very IT savvy, and they understand the impact the technology can bring on their business. So this maturity is now growing rapidly. Almost all the big real estate companies today would have already traversed ERP, the CRM curves. Those were traversed by the other sectors a few years back. Now real estate is catching up fast. There are BIs. People are using AI. I mean, you name the technology, it is now finding a place. AI, ML, even blockchain to some extent. Of course, blockchain is nascent in the nation itself, but sooner or later it will find, and real estate companies are already looking into it. Then cloud, mobility, IT security, everything. So if you say, or if you ask me, oh, we are catching up very fast with other sectors, and I am sure over a period of next 3 years or so, will almost be at par with the other sectors. At least I will say manufacturing, organized engineering, and construction sectors, which are similar to our business.
How is Oberoi Realty implementing novel technologies?
So we are working in a very steadfast manner towards improving the tech technological maturity of the organization. We already have established ERP systems, we have established CRM systems. We are also aggressively working towards BIM technology, building information modeling. You may have heard about it. So something like 5D BIM or 6D BIM. So we have done a lot of progress on that. See, the point is there are two main directions those we are taking, I'd say. One is improving the operational efficiency of the organization. How can we improve the project execution? This is one track, I'll call it. So all this BIM and ERP systems and all fall under that track. Mobility, all this falls under that. Then how do you provide good experience to customers? So here we are exploring even holographics. We are exploring AR. We are exploring. We are already into world's best CRM platform, that is Salesforce. So we are bringing all these threads together so we can bring a seamless experience to customers.
Data analytics has clear benefits in real estate at the customer's end, but on the realtor's front, its potential has not been harnessed completely. What is your view on this?
You look at the again the IT maturity of the real estate sector. See, data analytics requires two things. One is it requires sound data, like the underlying data should be clean, it should be comprehensive, right? And only then you can run analytics onto that. Now, real estate sector, as I said, was is slightly behind other sectors in terms of that transaction layer itself. We call it OLTP, online transaction processing. So, however, having said that, so if we are talking generally about the sector, yes, that may be the situation. However, some companies have already progressed to a level where they have a lot of organized and structured data. I'm talking about internal systems because the first step in data analytics is analyzing structured data. Then comes the step of analyzing unstructured data. So let's not go to unstructured data as of now. But if you look at the structured data component, at least there are leading real estate developers who already have that kind of structured data and they are doing analytics onto that. So, we have to look at it in both ways. So there are some companies who are already reached there and they are doing it. There are some companies who are playing a catch up.
How is the real estate sector leveraging technologies to collaborate with different stakeholders at different levels?
For collaborations with contractors, and also we have deployed the technologies, and the benefit is like very clear to everybody. And go back to my examples about architects, so they can obviously come on a teams meeting, but when there is a sharing of design, let us say file sharing has to be done in a secured manner, in a protected manner. So we use technologies like Autodesks and the tools those come along with it to collaborate properly with an architect, so that the design process moves smoothly and fast. Same goes with our contractors also. Most of the construction that we do is outsourced to big contractors like L&T, let us say. So their people actually execute our site. They actually build our buildings under our supervision. So how does one collaborate with them? How does one ensure quality of the construction? So again, we have resorted to Autodesk tools where these things are mobile enabled. So for example, checklist has to be executed to ensure quality. And this checklist is executed in two steps. First step is done by the contractor, and the second step is done by our quality team. All these entire workflow, this entire quality process, which is so critical to ensure the quality of the construction, is now driven by state of the art tools. So we are working again on multiple fronts to ensure that these whole moving parts of the ecosystem, not only oral employees, are enabled by these kind of technologies and they work seamlessly. And that is where I think the whole success lies, because this ecosystem should work in sync. Otherwise, there will be gaps, loss of efficiency, and all that.
When it comes to cybersecurity, the threat landscape is expanding. How should real estate firms achieve a safe security posture?
I would suggest that one has to go for a layered security approach. Layered security approach. So one is perimeter. One has to secure the perimeter. Now, I'm sure most of the businesses today do with next generation firewalls. This includes web firewalls. Okay, that means cloud-based firewalls. Beyond that, I tell you the most common vehicle of delivering malicious payload, be it a ransomware, be it some kind of a bot, some malware, is email. The simplest way, and it's so easy, to send a phishing email, and an employee clicks a malicious link, and that's it. The attack happens. So it is important to have a good email security as a second line of defense, and it is very important line of defense, where the email security analyzes the email those are being delivered, right? Then it scrubs out the malicious attachments and delivers a clean email to the employee. This is one thing that needs to be done as a basic. Third is you should have a very powerful endpoint security. Now, thankfully, at Oberoi Realty, we are using the best in the world, that is uh, CrowdStrike. It is important that your endpoint security not only detects the attack, it also remediates it immediately. Because in an endpoint attack, any lateral movement, that means like a virus spreading from one person to another one, this malware can also, it actually spreads from one PC to another to server, and it will kind of multiply itself before even actually starting an attack. It can be controlled by a hacker sitting somewhere. So basically, there is a huge potential of the business getting compromised because of this. So it is important to immediately contain it, remediate it, and one has to invest in the best cybersecurity endpoint tools. Those are available in the market. I'll very strongly recommend that to anyone who will be listening to this video broadcast at at a later point of time. Third is data. It's possible to create a fraud or defraud a customer into paying some amount to a hacker instead of the developer. It takes again is a mail, a phishing mail with a malicious link. That's all it takes. But for that, the hacker will have to know the customer email, what property is buying, and raise a fake demand note. I'm just giving a scenario. So it is very important to protect the data. Now, one has to have a very powerful DLP, data leakage prevention policy in place, because the most data leakages happen from employees because they have the access. Sometimes it is with intention, sometimes it is without intention, by accident. The end result is the same. So one has to have really powerful tools to take care that the data doesn't get leaked.
How do you see the real estate market evolving in the near future? How is Oberoi Realty gearing up for strengthening its technology capabilities?
So looking at the future, it seems that people will invest a lot in data analytics. People will invest in AI, and people will invest in AR, VR, and blockchain. So this seems, and we are going the same way. Uh, I think I already explained the investments we have done in collaboration, security, digitizing the processes. Earlier, those were manual. Now they are being handled digitally. Like for us, a lot of processes those we have already are digitized. So people can be anywhere and they can still execute the process. Simple thing like PO approval, this can be executed from anywhere. Most of the people, I'm sure, have done that, and other workflows also. So that is yet another thing. And beyond that, the technologies like BIM. I talked about 5D BIM, but there's also 6D BIM where the operations also get handled through the model. All this will come into play. There will be huge focus on sustainability going forward. There will be a large focus on smart cities, IoT. Actually, the sky is the limit. I mean, it's totally up to you how, in which direction you want to. The technology is evolving extremely, and it's very exciting actually now to be in the tech zone, and smart homes, everything. I think it is like growing in all kinds of directions. So whatever, as I said, makes the maximum business sense, in terms of the outcomes, is what will be prioritized, because the options are like numerous.